Hello, it's KRBrickBot, and I reviewed the Mega Ambler just so I don't leave a gap for the next metal Cardbot in the toy line. The fourth one introduced in the show, but the fifth one in the toy line, oddly enough, like the second wave, Phoenix Fire. A good opportunity to get it since it was half off at a certain E-Mart. That's just a simple tenner for a Voyager Deluxe figure. That's a steal of a deal. The unique packaging style background here is like fiery sparks and thunder. The hammer blaze with the fire hammer. Yeah, the Phoenix Fire metal card. Oh yeah, that's a different pose for June, a bit more aesthetic. Yeah, this is also in March of 23. Yeah, nice backing tray with the instructions and the simple plastic shell. Oh yeah, the first wave emotional castle cards where you can see the QR code for the streaming service of just CMG shows. So much like Mega Ambler, Phoenix Fire's build is basically a small torso encased in big chunks of vehicle kibble as the robot limbs. Yeah, so there's a certain drawback to that, like big shoulder kibbles, pretty bareback, kind of hollow gaps, but otherwise it's what it is. I guess it has a maybe more simple design in the chest, just ridges. It's mostly black with some painted red and gold. The back of the vehicle, the back of the fire truck, just flat shoulders. And the little arms, the short little stubby arms, have these bars here. These are the wheel bumper bars that really stick out from the hand. That might be a bit annoying, aesthetically. But if you can find something big enough to clip onto or to string around, then it could have some niche purpose. The head is another one of those fireman helmet inspired designs with that neck guard, though without the brim, and it's much more red and white. Yeah, nice little curves and little divots in there just to break it up. The relatively smooth design. Some interesting little thing in his ears. Yeah, that looks like a fire flame. Screw hole here. Nice little painted white faceplate, and there are molded pupils on there. They're just not painted separately. Of course, he has a giant water cannon, large water cannon that goes 180, and also a hinge here for storage or vehicle mode. Yeah, so you might not exactly be sure where to orient this when using it as a big old weapon. Yeah, without anything in the back, you get this goes straight, but maybe it looks better like this, though that kind of blocks it if you're trying to move it all the way 90 degrees, so whichever style you like, whether you like the big red barrel on the top like that or on the bottom for some reason. Same 4mm hands. You could shoulder mount it like this. Yeah, the shoulder hole is on exactly one side of it, it's not in the center, so you can do that if you like giant shoulder cannon. For the signature metal card. To transform this, yeah, flip this bit and then this bit around and then out to the side like this. You have a hammer with a nice painted gold fire emblem here and a bit of silver here. So yeah, that clips in this one tab here, not on this one, so only on this hand, I guess front view right. Yeah, so that's an interesting 4-arm mounted hammer. I mean, I guess there's always a debate about how unwieldy a 4-arm mounted weapon would be, a melee weapon of that sort, as opposed to just a wrist-wielding traditional sword or hammer. But it's a unique type of equipment at least. Could also act like a shield. And there is a slot, so there is room for his bar. And that bar is really doing the numbers here to hold it together because it kind of slips out easily. That little tab in the back is not really locking it in. Articulation, full swivel at the head. kind of squeaky outward shoulders, and then soft ratchet outwards, transformational outwards, double elbow bend, transformational torso crunch and back arc, nice clickety full ratchets, all the way forward, all the way back, knees, soft double knee, that is already kind of scraping the plastic here, no thighs, nothing in the toe really unless you want to do this, which looks very awkward. Transformation is basically identical to Mega Ambler, uncoincidentally enough. At the standard metal Cardbot size, he might be a little bit tall for a Voyager. Or yeah, this could be fine, this could just be like a pretty big Voyager. Pretty big fire truck Voyager. For the transformation, don't stop me if you've seen this before, like the double hinge those forward, align those bars, and then push them, double hinge them back, then double hinge the waist so that the pelvic goes upward, click that in. And then, of course, you forget the heel spurs in the vehicle mode, the robot mode, but the base here is already pretty wide enough that it stands pretty well without those. Then hinge in and then tuck those feet inside. Yeah, just rotate that so that the barrel's up here. Yeah, so that transformation was basically a reverse Mega Ambler. Like where the feet are the front here, and then, you know, the folding in, collapsing in the arms, forming the bumper. It's like, that's the back and to the front. They're not retools, just same engineering, just reversed. It's interesting to have two very similar bots do that. It's another fire truck, but a very boxy fire truck. Maybe a retro type of fire truck with a completely flat cab, and that is the cutest a metal Cardbot has ever been. Somehow those big eyes just kind of make it the cutest, even though with that big stern thing. And probably the most accurately shaped eyes, even though, as always, they always go with round pupils instead of the square pupils for some reason. And yeah, that's not quite blue. And yeah, of course, could do some more touch-ups with the siren lights and other headlights. A DIY project. Oh, and yeah, this entire fire cannon was actually metallic instead of just all white. Yeah, just the entire body looks much more metallic in general. This is a dark gunmetal metallic plastic. Yeah, those just not a silver. Then the other details, like those are some rather simple circles and dials. Just they don't look too much like equipment things. Just random circular details that kind of mimic that. Little bolts here, those caution stripes on the robot legs, and I guess these are knee lights. I mean, they're kind of random details on the top of this fire truck with a bit of a sink in there. Pretty simple hubcap wheels here. They don't roll super smoothly. It's one of those inverted pinwheels. Yeah, but there are asymmetrical details here, like a permanently molded ladder on one side and a fire hose on the other, just for decoration. Nice little bars here. Nice little ridge plating on the top. And I guess that could be a little door with the molded blue tail lights and those bumpers that cover up the back wheels nicely. That fire cannon is technically off-center, but I guess if you tilt it a bit, it almost looks exactly centered. Yeah, maybe not too much of a big deal. If it was in the middle, perfectly in the middle, or there was some extra offset tab to make sure that's centered, it would look a little awkward. So, this is something. And plus, there's an extra tab molded here, so that I just tap something on top here. Kind of loose, but secures it straight in place. Yeah, so I don't know if this is too wide for a standard fire truck compared to a standard car. Fire truck, and fire truck. Yeah, but that looks just about right. Just maybe a bit too wide, but not so much out of scale wide. So this was pretty much the same as Mega Ambler, but as a fire truck, and also reversed. Yeah, just imagine just transforming him like from this side, or just waist around up. Yeah, so it's not exactly the same, but it's very similar, so I feel like you might be getting two of the same thing if you go for both Mega Ambler and Phoenix Fire. And maybe the small torso thing might not be the most aesthetically pleasing, but it's pretty simple. Maybe it could do a bit more if it was a bigger budget or price point. Hey, but for only like 10, that's less than a core class, I'm gonna say no to it, so at least this was a cheap deal for me for a new inbox. Yeah, oddly only Phoenix Fire, so I'm still waiting for the other metal Cardbots to go on sale. Maybe when it's time for Season 2 to air. We still haven't heard anything about that yet, so maybe when the toys are announced, the retailers are gonna mark them half off to clear it out. I mean, their full retail price was already pretty cheap, but I still want to wait for a sale because there are other more interesting bots that take priority. And of course, internationally, the Chinese toy line is the way to go to save on shipping. Depending on the toy, there may be some differences between the Korean and Chinese versions. For Phoenix Fire, the only discernible difference I could see is that the Chinese one has a silver painted faceplate instead of white, which I don't think is actually quite show accurate, so just be aware of that. I plan to eventually recollect all the metal Cardbots, so my collection's gonna turn out to be like 9 Korean ones and 3 Chinese metal Cardbots for a particular reason.